guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon and this is Wine, Tea, and Paper, and I talk about books here. Today I am going to be talking about my May TBR, and you're probably saying, Shannon, what the heck are you talking about? You don't do TBRs. You're correct, I don't. But here we are, and I'm doing this TBR because I'm doing a themed read-along with Sabi Says Reads. I will leave a link to her channel in the description box below. She is doing a Hunger Games themed read-along. It's basically themed around the reaping from the first book. If you haven't read the Hunger Games, you're super missing out, and the reaping is basically the ceremony where each district picks the girl and the boy to participate in that year's games, and then the training period happens after that. So that's what this readathon is covering, the reaping and then the training period after. Sabi has 12 different prompts, and each prompt is technically for one of the districts. There's 12 districts, so then there's 12 reading prompts. How this readathon works, for each prompt that you read, you get a point. There's like categories, and Sabi will go into that into her video. The points that you get will help you for the readathon for the games in September. So those points will be able to give you bonuses, being able to remove prompts and things from the other one. If you want to watch Sabi's announcement video, she has a whole bunch of links in the description box of her video, templates and information that she made about this one, and then about the second one, which is the actual games, which will be taking place in September, I believe. So I will leave all that information in the description box below so you can see the original announcement video. I'm just going to quickly go through the prompts and what I'm going to be reading for each prompt. The first one is adding your name multiple times to receive tesserae, to read a book that is part of a series. May is pretty special because Suzanne Collins is releasing her prequel to the Hunger Games series on May 19th, and it is called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So that is the book that I'm going to be reading for this prompt. I thought it was very appropriate to read the prequel that is part of the series that this readathon is even created about, themed after. So I pre-ordered The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and it will not be arriving at my house until at least May 21st because that's what Amazon is telling me. But who knows when I'll actually get it, because I ordered something the other day and it said it wasn't going to be here yet, and I received it like a week ago, and my Amazon is still telling me that it's on its way. Because of all of this pandemic stuff, I don't know when I'm gonna get anything. So who knows when I'm gonna get this book. Hopefully in enough time for me to read it for this readathon. The second prompt is reaping. May the odds be ever in your favor. To read the first book from your TBR that comes to mind. When I read this prompt, literally no books came to my mind. I was thinking about a book that I've been wanting to read that's been on my TBR. Something keeps pushing it off every month and I haven't been able to read it. And that book is A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy. I got this book from Bookish First a while ago. Yeah, because this book came out in October of 2019 and I still have not read it. I was super pumped about this book, and I'm still super pumped about this book, and I'm gonna finally take the time to read this book and get it off my TBR. The third prompt is volunteer. I volunteer as tribute. Katniss volunteered in the place of her sister, Primrose Everdeen. We are going to read a book that I am intimidated by. And that book is A Curse So Dark and Lonely. You might be asking me why I'm intimidated by this book. I think I'm intimidated by this book because it is kind of large. It's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. For some reason, I am scared to read this book. I meant to read this book a while ago for a buddy read. I ordered it and everything. I got this nice hardcover, and I'm just terrified to open it, and I don't know why. Prompt number 4 is opening ceremony. Katniss, the girl on fire, and that is literally like when you think of Katniss, you think the girl on fire. This is to read a book that is red or orange on the cover or has fire in the title. I am going to be reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. I received this copy of this book a while ago. It was from a book swap that I did, This book is actually, like, this series by Sarah J Maas is actually making a comeback. Hopefully I like it because I have the next book in the series, and then I plan to continue if I like it. But I heard the second one is better than the first one, so we'll see. The fifth prompt is outfits, naked and covered in black dust. So this reference doesn't happen in the movie. I know a lot of people watched the movie and didn't read the book. This is a reference to the book. For this, you have to read a book that is black under the dust jacket or has a black cover. I'm going to be reading Serpent and Dove, and it is black under the dust jacket. And the cover is also black. This is a YA fantasy about a witch hunter and a witch that somehow end up married. And that's all I know. And then I also know that the sequel is coming out soon, so I figure I might as well read this, figure out if I like it or not before I go ahead and buy the sequel. Number 6 is Training Center. Read a book in one place. For this, I decided to pick a book that I've been meaning to read for a while, and that's a little bit on the shorter side, so I can read it in one place. It doesn't say read it in one sitting, and I'm not going to try to aim for that. And typically I read most of my books in one place anyways, which is my bed. But now that it's getting warmer, I'm going to set my hammock up outside, and I'll be reading in my hammock a lot. So I might try to, that might be my goal, to read this book in my hammock. That book is Bird Box. I did watch this movie a while ago. I really enjoyed the movie. I actually watched the movie several times. I've been meaning to read the book. It's pretty short. I'm excited to see how the book compares to the movie. Number 7 is Partner Up or Train Separately. Did I actually get a pair of fighters this year? And that is a quote from Haymitch. This is to read a book with two people who partner up to, like, either fight crime or solve a mystery together or something like that. For this, I am going to pick up Stalking Jack the Ripper. You've probably seen this book on my channel before because I've been trying to reread this book for months and months and months. I actually really love this book, and I have the rest of the series in hardcover, and I've been meaning to read them, but I want to refresh on the beginning of the series before I dive into the rest. So that's what I'm going to be doing this month by rereading the first book in the series, because the two main characters, Audrey Rose and Thomas Cresswell. So Audrey and Thomas, they team up and they are trying to find the Ripper, who is killing innocent women in London. So that's exciting, and I love the witty banter between Thomas and Audrey. So this is literally the perfect book for this prompt. Number 8 is Show Your Strength from the Beginning or Hold Back. So that's something that Haymitch tells Katniss and Peeta, that they want to hold back in the beginning and then show their strength at the end of the training. This is read an underrated book, and I actually don't have one written down, and that's because I'm kind of throwing around a couple of options right now. I asked you guys on Instagram and on Facebook what some of your favorite underrated books are, and I have a whole list of books that you guys recommended to me, and I have a couple that I have tabbed on Scribed, and then I have a couple that I have in my book outlet cart that I'm thinking about just purchasing, and then maybe doing a video later on down the road where I read your recommendations for underrated books. So if you have more recommendations for one of your favorites underrated books, or a book that you think deserves more love than it's been getting on Bookstagram or Booktube, go ahead and leave that for me in the comments below. And I might use it for this readathon, or I might use it for my video in the future. Number 9 is skill training, archery, spear throwing, and weightlifting. Read a book that includes fighting. So this is funny because I'm doing a reread of the book that this is based off of. For this, I picked Pride and Prejudice and Zombies because I'm assuming that there's going to be fighting because there's zombies involved and the characters on the cover have swords. I think this is going to be fun to read because I'm also rereading Pride and Prejudice this month for a buddy read. So it'll be fun to reread Pride and Prejudice and then read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and see how it differs. Number 10 is interview training. 100 banal phrases starting with a smile. By lunch, the muscles in my cheeks are twitching from overuse. You have to read a book that makes you happy. I actually had a hard time picking this book. There's a couple of books that I gravitate towards. when I am in like a reading slump or in a pretty crappy mood. They are like YA romancy books that I've read several times. So instead, I decided to pick the first in a series that I loved reading when I was in high school, and I read this series up very quickly, and that is the House of Night series by PC and Christian Cast. So I'm going to be reading the first one, Marked, and I actually already started a little bit. I'm on page 36. This will be probably my third read through of the first book. The main character, Zoe, she is turning into a vampire, but they're not really vampires. They're kind of like witches. There's a lot of like magic elements, elemental magic, and it's really cool, and it's a really neat series. Very YA, easy to read. Number 11 is Content Training with Haymitch. Read a book with a strong lead character. Of course, I'm going to be picking up The Mockingjay, and this is the third book in the Hunger Games series. I picked this book because Katniss really shows how strong of a character she is in this final book, with a lot of things that are going on within Panem, and I wanted to reread the Hunger Games series for this readathon. I'm not going to be rereading the Hunger Games because I reread the Hunger Games at the end of 2019 for the 12th prompt, which is Caesar Flickerman. Same hairstyle, he dyes a different color for each Hunger Games. Read a book with a cover the color of your hair. I am a ginger, so I picked this fiery colored book, which is Catching Fire, the second book in the series. It has been a long time since I read the sequel. I've read Hunger Games so many times, the first one, but I don't think I've ever reread Catching Fire or Mockingjay. They're very different from the Hunger Games. You know that if you've read the whole series. It's like different, it has a different feel to them, but it's the same, but it's very different. And that's the best way that I can tell you if you haven't read them. Those are the books that I plan on reading in May. There are a couple other books that I have my eye on for May as well that aren't part of this readathon. And I'm not going to talk about those because, I don't know, I feel like TBRs are jinxed, and if I talk about them, I'm not going to really read them. Thank you guys for sticking around. Please go check out Sabi's announcement video, and I will be posting a vlog for doing this readathon as well, so check out that later on in the month. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you're reading down below, and I will see you guys next time.